Seiya Ryuguin is the kind of hero every world dreams of summoning. Overpowered, flawless, maxed out stats in magic, combat, and health. On paper, he is perfection. There is just one tiny issue: he is absurdly cautious. Restarta, a novice goddess of healing born into the unified divine realm a century ago, is assigned her most dangerous mission yet: save the S-class difficulty world of Gaybrand from a demon lord. She has successfully rescued troubled worlds before, but this time the pressure is different. The stakes are higher. One mistake could mean total annihilation. After extensive research, she selects Seiya Ryuguin as her champion. The moment she summons him, she knows she chose well. He is powerful, composed, and ridiculously handsome. So handsome, in fact, that Restart nearly forgets herself. For a split second, she wants to admire him a little too much, but quickly snaps back to reality. A goddess falling in love with a human? Absolutely forbidden. Unfortunately, perfection comes with complications. After their first conversation, Restart realizes Seiya is not just careful. He is paranoid. He overtrains for battles against slimes. He stockpiles items for situations that may never happen. He refuses to step into danger without overwhelming preparation. Stubborn, distrustful, and relentlessly over-prepared, Seiya treats every minor threat like the final boss. Instead of going straight to Gaybrand, he decides to constantly exercise and improve his skills to prepare himself. Before choosing Seiya, Restarty quickly discovers that she neglected to find out about his finds, which shows that he is impossibly cautious. Later, while she has tea with her fellow goddess Ariadoa, Restarty promises to let Seiya train alone after talking to her. Ariadoa tells her to treat him like a friend more than being his goddess. But well, he surely is not letting his guard down. Finally, the bell rings and she rushes to the house, ultimately finding him shirtless. She is wet just by looking at the gym from a distance. Anyways, Seiya only trained for a week and managed to reach level 15, doing only basic exercises and even unlocked magic combat skills, which impresses Restarty a lot. It looks like Restarty's patience has paid off in an incredible way. When they finally travel to Gaybrand, he acts suspicious of everyone and everything. Restart gives him some coins as a present from a goddess. As soon as he has coins, Seiya tries to buy more than one set of armor and other stuff, but Restart criticizes him for being too paranoid and makes him buy only what is necessary. Later on, they both bump into a kid named Nina from the Adona town, who gives Seiya a charm to ward off evil. He kept it even though at first he was hesitant to accept it, which Restart notices. Seiya sometimes lets his guard down. Seiya defeats the first monster they come across outside of town. A simple slime, but he goes too far and blows up the whole place with explosives in case any pieces of the slime are still alive.
Atomic split slash. まだだ、まだ生きているかもしれん。エルズファイヤー。また火を引きやがる。何回なんだよ。At that moment, Chaos Machina, a level 66 demon and one of the 4 heavenly kings, shows up in front of them. She has quite the assets, hanging by a thread which can be put on exhibition with a little help from our hero. She discloses that she was sent out to scout the area in order to kill Seiya before he can pose a threat. Checking out her levels, Restart knows that the only right option is to run from her, or else Chaos Machina has the ability to fry them like a chicken wing. But it seems like Seiya was smarter than imagined and already came down to the conclusion and made a run for his life, leaving Restart behind, which makes her angry and she runs for her life too behind him. Seiya uses a smoke screen using his power to misguide Chaos Machina, who is after them, and rushes to the portal and finally succeeds in evading her. As soon as they step back into the divine realm through the portal, Restart is on the top of Seiya with her melons resting on his chest. He holds Restart's face, giving her the wrong idea that he might actually like her back. And right as we were expecting some action, he throws her away from his body and shuts her out so he can train more. Later, Restart looks into her magic globe and sees absolute destruction in Adona, caused by no other than Chaos Machina. She is blackmailing the duo to come back, as she wants to have a little fun with them. Back in Adona, a decision is made by Chaos Machina to attack Adona after Restart and Seiya depart for the Divine Realm. Seeing that, Restarte runs to Seiya, but he seems unbothered by the screams and cries of people, including the little girl Nina and her father, who are next in line to be finished off by Chaos Machina. He believes that he is not fully prepared to face that big bazooka demon. Well, that is because our protagonist, having a small problem of being overcautious, found out that time passes more slowly in the Divine Realm. So of course Seiya makes the decision to level up with the extra time. She tries her best to persuade him, but it doesn't work on our hero, and he continues his training irrespective of her feelings. Restarte is regretting her decision to summon him at this point.
Chaos Machina, on the other hand, got this whole evil scheme going on, threatening off one poor soul every 10 minutes unless our heroes do her bidding. But here's the thing, time works sort of differently in the divine realm, like some time warp thing, so while it's just 10 minutes for us mortals, it's like 16 hours for those divine beings up there. Seiya, being the over-prepared hero he is not even breaking a sweat over this time pressure. Dude's probably got a backup plan for his backup plan's backup plan. So Seiya and his trusty sidekick Restart decide to swoop into Idona to save the day. But be ready for it, because when Restart finally gears up for battle, she gets hit with the ultimate surprise. Seiya has leveled up to a level 21. Fast forward to the action-packed showdown back in Gaybrand. Seiya's on a mission to save Nina and her dad, and he's not wasting any time. So what does Chaos Machina do? She pulls out all the stops and decides to up her game by transforming into a greater demon. This was her special technique, Demonic Curse. Restart has her eyes focused on them fighting. Right as Seiya blocks a punch with his wrist from the Chaos Machina, who is 100x his size, Restart realizes that Seiya is hiding his levels from her and puts several locks on his actual status and levels, and it takes her a while to break those locks. But after using all her potential, Restart is able to break through his locks and finds out his actual level, which is level 37, and he was hiding it by using the fake out skill the entire time. After that, Seiya fights Chaos Machina as his level and status is way higher than hers. He uses Phoenix Drive as his final move. He is able to defeat Chaos Machina and ends up winning the town's respect along with Restart. She rushes to hug Seiya, grateful for his effort to save the town. The mayor of the town offers him to stay for a while, but he is already on to save the next town. But Seiya covers Chaos Machina's burned remains with explosions, fearing she might resurrect. That brought upon great damage to the town, more than what Chaos Machina brought. Idona is completely destroyed in the process, and the mayor of Idona, who had previously expressed gratitude, is now pleading with them to leave as the entire town is all burned down along with the homes. Later, Nina and her father give him some coins as their thanks to him for saving their lives. Restart is curious about how things will turn out with Seiya when they return to the divine realm. Rista starts telling Arya how strong Seiya is, and that he can battle anything. Rista tells Arya that she idolizes her and cannot wait to be a goddess like her. Arya advises her not to be much inspired by her, as there was a world that she herself failed to save too. Rista says that failing to save a world after successfully saving 300 worlds is totally understandable, and she shouldn't be so harsh on herself for this. Arya politely and regretfully disagrees. She says to that world it was their only world. It was a B-level difficulty battle, yet she couldn't save the world. The plot thickens as Seiya makes his grand entrance. Arya, ever the observant one, immediately pegs him as the hero Rista's been talking about. And boy does Seiya come bearing worries. He's all frazzled about not being the powerhouse he once was. In all her divine wisdom suggests a solution: training with the big guns, aka the gods themselves. A backdoor technique to hone one's skills. Off they go to meet the trainer extraordinaire, Cerseus, who is known as the Divine Blade. Arya sweet-talks Cerseus into taking Seiya under his wing for some serious hero boot camp. He straight up warns Seiya that his training regime is like trying to chug a gallon of hot sauce. Way too intense for your average human. But does Seiya flinch? Nope, not even a bit. The guy's still oozing confidence like a leaky faucet. Rista plans to keep visiting Cerseus to follow up on training of Seiya. She keeps following up day by day, and Cerseus tells her that Seiya is progressing well and gaining great powers that a human barely has. One day, she goes to Cerseus and finds him hiding under a tree so that Seiya does not come and ask him to train, as he's so active and wants to train unstoppably 24/7, and Cerseus is sleepless and restless. Sums up my nights. He gives Seiya the title of Super Berserker, and I honestly believe that it is not a compliment. However, Seiya finds him and takes him away for training again. The stubborn god has finally met someone who is even more stubborn than him, and the Divine Blade is so pushed that he hates his sword now. Just then Arya informs Rista that Ishtar has called her for a meeting. After an update about her hero, Ishtar tells her that she needs to go with Seiya for a mission in the next town, Gaybrand, as they have a powerful enemy there. Rista is pumped up and ready for the mission. Rista goes to Seiya and tells him about everything that happened in her meeting with Ishtar, and Seiya is equally pumped up and ready for the mission. Rista and Seiya enter the town of Samul and see fearful people evading the town. People tell them that Crane Castle to the northwest has fallen, advising the duo to rush out of this town too. Meanwhile, Rista tells Seiya that undead monsters are those who are active despite having no life in them, more like zombie apocalypse. She tells him that to defeat them, it takes fire spells and holy water, and mere swords don't work on them. They both go to a shop and buy 10 holy waters. Both of them enter the church and see some people praying. An old man there, who goes by Father Marth, thanks Seiya and Rista for coming to save them, and introduces two warriors to them, Elulu and Mash, who will help the hero defeat the demon. Both carry dragonkin blood in them. Unexpectedly, Seiya pours the holy water on Father Marth, as his body faints away, and the head starts to burn. An underneath monster comes up, and they are all in a shock that he called it right. It was actually the monster who was there for 2 days. This is the undead power that he received from Death Magla, who is one of the Demon Lord Force's 4 heavenly kings. He cuts the monster, who's still somehow undead, as he tells them that there are 10,000 monsters that he'll need to kill. Seiya says that he has gained all the info he needed. Rista takes the other people out of there, and Seiya explodes the church with his superpowers, and now the monster is totally dead. Seiya and his obsession with destroying everything. Outside the church, Seiya pours the holy water on everyone, just to be sure, but none of them is a monster. Both of the warriors, Elulu and Marsh, seem impressed, and introduce themselves. Seiya tells Rista that he does not need them, which makes both of them mad. Hesitation is the word that is completely unknown to our hero. Seiya continues to tell Mash and Elulu that he does not need them, which upsets them. A few people come in armor costumes, and a girl there tells them that Ishtar has sent a god and a hero to help them beat Demon Lord. The people bow down and thank them for coming. Seiya asks them for money, which he needs to use his special trick, and the guy says the vampire might be able to provide 10,000 gold coins. The guy tells Seiya that there are 200 knights coming to join him, but he refuses to take their help too. He orders the knights to stay here and defend the townspeople, as it is the only best suited job for them. He plans on taking on these forces of undead all by himself, because he doesn't want the others to die unnecessarily. After that, Seiya starts flying towards the place, leaving Rista with the knights too. However, Rista feels like he is underestimating a goddess, so she turns up a notch and grows wings to catch him. They head towards the place where they are likely to see the undead monsters. Finally, they reach a place where they see the thousands of undead monsters, and Seiya uses the skill named Bombardment, which creates an explosive bomb, a skill he learned while training with Cerseus. As soon as he explodes the bomb, all the monsters die in seconds. However, his cautious nature doesn't let him stay in peace, so he decides to launch another giant bomb just to be sure. Rista is shocked and surprised at the same time and thinks to herself that he really is alone enough to take on mighty opponents. Seiya gets a little weak and tired. He says it is because he has used a lot of MP for this explosion, and now 13,500 out of 15,000 MP are left. I don't know if he failed in maths or there is an issue with my sense of calculation, but it's still a lot. When they get back to the town, Elulu tells Rista that she cannot find Mash anywhere and she's worried about him. But Rista tells Elulu not to worry, as the undead monsters have been killed by Seiya already. Well, it's just another day in the chaotic life of our heroes. Elulu and Rimmerus pay a visit to Seiya's room, probably expecting some hero-like shenanigans. They get more than they bargained for. Seiya whips out this shiny platinum sword he whipped up by fusing a normal sword and hair of a goddess together. It is creepy to think that our hero collected these hair from Rista's belongings. But before they can even admire Seiya's craftsmanship, a mysterious woman comes in with a gift for the hero. And what's inside? A mirror. Yep, a mirror. Not exactly the kind of gift you'd expect for the guy who's busy killing demons and saving the day. But well, that's that. When Rista unwraps it, they are greeted with a chilling sight. Mash, poor guy, gets kidnapped super fast. And just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, in walks this big bad monster named Death Mangla. He is one of the big shots, one of the 4 heavenly kings of the demon troops. Talk about crashing the party in style. But Death Mangla's not just here to make small talk. Nope, he's got a sinister plan up his sleeve, and it involves holding poor Mash hostage with a knife to his head. Classic villain move. And of course he's lapping up the drama like it's his favorite soap opera. Seiya asks Rista to open a portal to the Divine Round. She's able to create it through her superpower, and Seiya enters the place, which shocks Death Mangla. Seiya attacks him with the platinum sword and his arm is cut into half. He uses a photon blade that can cut through the fabric of space. However, he did that only temporarily so that he does not have the chance to kill Mash. He takes Rista with him and rushes towards Ishtar in the Divine Realm. He asks Ishtar to create a portal from her end which will lead them to fight Death Mangla properly, and she agrees to create it for them and wishes them luck. As soon as they enter the portal, Seiya begins a quick explosion, which distracts the monsters and allows Rista to untie Mash and save him. She starts healing his injuries right away, while Seiya moves forward to fight Death Mangla. Death Mangla has a new gigantic monster of his own, whose name is Dark Fyrus, the mightiest fire attribute monster created after hundreds of experiments. This monster is unbeatable, as all attack powers are useless against him except for ice magic, so the only hope for the duo is to use ice magic. However, with all superpowers, Seiya cleverly uses his fist and punches that gigantic monster on the stomach, which statues him and turns him into a statue fire. Considering his opponent has special blunt skill, which is unusual for a swordsman. The monster still tries to punch Seiya, and Seiya punches back instead and turns the monster's body into big ice cubes. Special thanks to the bracelet he is wearing, which blesses one with the ice attributes. After that he attacks him with his platinum sword, engulfed with fire, which kills the monster and tears him into pieces. Death Mangla is scared and speechless. Mash and Rista are shocked and impressed by the level of Seiya's skills. Rista admires him for synthesizing such extraordinary items using her hair. Meanwhile, Seiya moves forward to kill Death Mangla, and Rista makes her way out of the chamber with Mash, giving her hero all the time he needs to smash the Demon King. Mash wakes up after their recent adventure and seems to be in trouble with the thoughts of so much difference in their levels. He is obsessed with Seiya and asks him to take him as an apprentice. Seiya agrees to make him anything he wants, only if he carries all the stuff of the protagonist. Mash tells them about Dragon's Den, which is a special place where dragons used to reside. However, Seiya decides to stop at the Divine Realm with Rista, Mash and Elulu before heading towards Dragon's Den, where they will get the majestic weapons to defeat greater evil. In the Divine Realm they meet Cerseus. Seiya informs him that he has to train Mash. Cerseus seems hesitant at first, as he is not interested in training anyone, but agrees when he realizes that Mash isn't like Seiya. After that they meet Hestiaka, the goddess of fire. Seiya tells the goddess that he wants her to train Elulu some fire magic, hence she agrees to train the little girl. Now Seiya wants to find someone who will train him. At that moment, Valkyrie bumps into Rista. She is the goddess of destruction. She picks out on Restart and starts squeezing her assets and praising them. She is the perfect bully that we come across in high schools. Seiya is observing this going on and sensed tremendous power from Valkyrie. Restart tells him that she is one of the strongest goddesses in the United Real. Hence Seiya decides that this goddess will train him. Seiya without any hesitation calls her exhibitionist and asks her to train him. Valkyrie does not like that he called her an exhibitionist. Hence she threatens him and demands that he has to apologize to her. She wants to tear him apart so badly. At that moment, Arya comes there and tells Valkyrie to back down. She then informs her that this man is the special hero, summoned to take on a difficulty level S world. Finally Valkyrie lets him go, and then she walks away from there with a deal. The deal is quite interesting, as she wants to fondle Arya's majestic racks. After that, Arya tells Seiya that she has someone who can train him. She then introduces them to Adonella, the goddess of war. Hence, Adonella agrees to train him. The first day of training, Elulu is training with Hestiaka, Mash is training with Cerseus, and Seiya is training with Adonella. It seems like the training is going really well at Seiya's end. Adonella seems so impressed with him and finds it amusing. The next day, Mash tells Rista about the things Seiya taught him. Looks like another disciple of cautionism. After a while, Rista goes to give food to Seiya. However, she sees Adonella acting weirdly, so she asks her what happened. Surprisingly, Adonella becomes shy and states that she wants to look good for Seiya. Adonella then informs the girl that Seiya has already learned the eternal sword technique. Funnily, Adonella looks like she is in love with Seiya. The next day, Rista notices that Mash's level has risen dramatically, and he has improved a lot. Mash and Rista then go to pick up Elulu. It doesn't feel like she has improved at all. There, Hestiaka informs Rista that Elulu has no feel for flame magic. Thus, she advises Rista that they should just give up teaching the girl magic. Hence, Rista becomes sad for Elulu. After a while, they meet Seiya. There, he informs Rista that Adonella has told him to wait here. At that moment, Adonella comes with a wholly different look there and hugs Seiya. She has also got a cake for him. She then tells him to take her with him on their adventure. Seiya straightly rejects her, and then he walks away from there. Rista tells him that it is not good to react like this. After that, he tells Rista to open the portal. Suddenly, they hear a huge crash. It appears Adonella has not taken his rejection lightly, as she goes on a rampage, destroying the infrastructure around. Interestingly, Seiya does not pay attention to her and goes from there, as he has other priorities at the moment. After a while, they are heading towards the Dragon's Den. Mash, being a dragonkin, has been their guide for the day. On the way, they encounter multiple monsters which were killed instantly by Seiya's remote fire magic. The kids are really disappointed that he is not allowing them to fight. On the way, they need some stuff for their adventure, so they stop at a pawn shop for a second. After walking for a while, they finally reach the Dragon's Den. The seal on the hands of Mash and Elulu lightens up. They go inside and see the seal prints on the wall. Surprisingly, Seiya breaks the seal with his powers instead of allowing the dragonkin to open it. They reach inside. There, a voice tells them that they have to step into the magic circle, then they will be able to enter the dragon village. After that, they will be given exhaustion. Mash and Elulu are really happy to visit their homeland for the first time. Seiya is cautious there too and first tests if there is a trap or not. After affirmation, they stand in the circle, and after a moment they reach the dragon village. There they see a weird-looking creature. His name is Lagos, and he takes them to meet their leader Levier. The dragon loots originally came about as children of both dragons and humans. However, most of them have more dominant dragon blood chemistry, which makes them look like dragons. Seems like Mash and Elulu had weak dragon blood. That's why they look more like humans. They then meet Levia, the great mother of dragons. She teaches Mash how he can turn himself into a dragon. It appears after transforming, Mash's power becomes stronger. She then informs Elulu that her role is more important than Mash. It appears Elulu will become Exation, the mightiest of weapons, by offering up her life. A twist in the tale for Elulu, which rings bell of cautiousness for our hero. The Dragon Queen herself, Levi, drops a news on our heroes. In order to take down the Demon Lord, their dear friend Elulu's gotta bite the bullet and become the legendary Great Exaucian Sword. This feat can only be achieved by her as she is a dragonkin girl born human in appearance. The Demon Lord's forces are wreaking havoc all over the place, with a solid 70% of the world under their thumb. The giants are trampling down one castle after another, and all the major kingdoms have already fallen. But before the big event, she urges Elulu to spend some quality time with her friends. You know, a little bonding before the whole turning into a sword thing. So off they go, our heroes taking a stroll through town, trying to wrap their heads around this whole mess. Mash, being the caring soul he is, checks in on Elulu, asking if she's alright. And bless her heart, Elulu's trying to put on a brave face, talking about how she's always wanted to help her friends and how this is her chance to finally do it. But deep down you can tell she's torn up inside. And then there is Seiya, oblivious himself, who's cluelessly going on through the whole ordeal without a care in the world. He is prioritizing to buy the speed seeds rather than caring about his team. His ignorance about Elulu's fate cuts deeper than a double-edged sword, leaving poor Elulu hurting more than she lets on. It is the time of the ceremony we all were waiting for. All the dragonsons are enjoying their food. Rista and Mash seem stressed, but Luvi tells them to be calm and enjoy the food. They are then given drinks and cookies. The ritual begins. Elulu is then brought out with 2 guards. They guide her towards the dragon abyss where she will be sacrificed. This abyss is the magic circle set forth by the first dragon emperor. Elulu's friends start to panic. She looks down on them and tries to calm them down while she herself is scared. All the dragonsons start cheering for her. Mash gets angry and tries to interfere but is stopped by the guards. The guards start pushing Elulu toward the abyss. Seiya steps in and kicks both guards off the cliff and they fall down. Rista is surprised and asks why he interfered. He argues that there is no way to be sure that the Exaucian will even defeat the Demon Lord. Rista is touched by the words of Seiya, and she tells Levi that they will find another way but won't sacrifice their friend. Mash tries to break free from the guards but falls to the ground along with Rista. Turns out that Levi laced their drinks with poison just in case the situation went against her plan. The drug works on everyone except Seiya, who only pretended to eat the food because of his overly cautious attitude. He expected it to be poison. Sometimes, just in case, there are some pros. Levi starts to rage and transforms into a dragon, 10 times her normal size. She then confronts Elulu and Seiya. Seiya brings out his dragon killer sword which he synthesized from the hairs of his friends. Rista is infuriated by the fact that Seiya plucked her hair without her knowing. Levi starts attacking Elulu as well. She says all she needs is her flesh. It does not matter if she is dead or alive. She then unlocks a poison necklace which starts killing Elulu slowly. Seiya tells her to lift the curse, to which she declines. Seiya gets angry by this and attacks her without holding back, which has a great effect on the queen. She then transforms into her golden form which has unbeatable shield skin. Seiya eats a bag of speed beans which enhance his speed abilities and uses his spear to duplicate the dragon killer sword. He attacks the queen with full force and speed, but it does not seem to have any effect, except pushing her to the edge, which was his intention all along. He keeps attacking faster and faster. He says kind words to Elulu. Rista demands the queen to lift her cursed necklace when she is almost about to fall off the edge. She tricks them into thinking that she will lift the curse, but she uses that moment to attack Seiya, which he deflects with his sword. She tries to flap her wings to fly away, but Seiya had already punctured them. The queen falls down the abyss and the curse is lifted. Elulu hugs and thanks her friends. A light glows from the abyss and a sword emerges. Seiya turns her sword into the Exaucian, using Elulu's blood, and claims the situation as a win-win. They teleport back. Elulu and Mash share a moment of love, and Rista tells them to go wait by the entrance. When Rista and Seiya are alone, Seiya tells her that the sword is not actually the Exaucian. He synthesized it artificially and they will find another way. When they all get to the entrance, there is a squad of guards waiting for them at the cave entrance. So, picture this. Our heroes stumble upon this elite squad of knights, dressed up in their cute Rose Guard Imperial Knight gear. They are all about that hero's life, ready to take down the big bad demon lord and save the day. Classic hero stuff, right? But here is where things get interesting. The commander spills the beans about how they have been waiting for a hero like Seiya to come along and give a hand in their epic quest. Next thing you know, they are off to Olga Fortress. The commanders got a little favor to ask. Help them squash a troublesome hive of Beelzebub demons that's been causing chaos left and right. According to knights, they are like flies who are causing casualties. Now Rista and Seiya decide to observe the situation from above. But they stumble upon a hive teeming with hundreds of those nasty fly-like demons. Quick on their feet, they hightail it back to the safety of the forest, trying to play it cool and fly under the radar. But you guessed it, their plan goes belly up when they run into the head of the hive. The Rose Guard Knights shoot their arrows toward the flies, but they dodge every single one. The flies pick up the guards and fly them to great heights and drop them, killing a dozen of guards. The head guard demands the hero to show himself, but he refuses to. He decides that this is not the right time to act. After some time, they go out to the field where the guards were killed and meet their garrison captain, Captain Rosalie, who is excited to meet them. She wants them to take action immediately, but the other captain tells her to be calm and let the heroes rest for a while. She takes the heroes to the fortress to discuss their strategy on the attack. But first, Seiya warns them that there could be a spy of the Demon Lord in the room with them. He is all about possibilities at the moment. Captain Rosalie suggests charging at the fly's lair as soon as possible, and doesn't need to have a strategic meeting regarding this. Seiya agrees but tells her they need 3 days to train in the Divine Realm to fight the flies. Seems like an ordeal for our cautious hero.
に決まっている。
それは一体。
帰る。
The council now has some doubts about the validity of Seiya. Rosalie gets furiously shocked by this and they have a quarrel, but they end up leaving anyway after giving the captain a reality check and a few slaps. Not surprised by the rigidity of our mighty hero. At the Divine Realm, Seiya tells everyone that he has already thought of a way to defeat the flies. Rista offers him a meeting with the goddess of archery, Metis, who lives in the forest nearby. They go to visit her where she is practicing. Rista greets her and she is pleased to meet them. Seiya asks her if she can shoot multiple arrows at once when she shows him the shining arrow technique. Someone seems seduced by the technique. Seiya demands her to teach him the technique. He learns fire arrow technique from Elulu with great ease and starts practicing the shining arrow. He has been too quick in catching up with the techniques. Rista, Elulu and Mash go back to the realm lobby. Mash wants to train for the fight while Elulu is tired and wants to eat candy and pass time. Mr. Cerseus walks by and they greet him. He warns them about Adanella, who has gone psychotic and is furious at Seiya. They go to Arya and discuss the matter with her and have tea. She asks Rista not to worry about it as Adanella will not do anything stupid, and even if she does, Seiya is capable of handling it well. She also agrees to train Mash with his abilities and unlock his hidden powers. She also sees the talents of Elulu and agrees to help her out in exploring it. Rista is getting more impressed every passing moment. After this, Rista sneaks into Adanella's place and gets creeped out by the writings on the wall, and she looks back to see Adanella staring at her creepily. She asks her if Seiya is also back with her. She tells her that it's only her and Seiya is not with her. She runs to the Divine Forest to warn her about Adanella. Seiya has almost mastered the Shining Arrow. She tells him to not leave the forest until they are about to leave because of Adanella. Seiya seems calm about Adanella, who had already followed Rista to the forest and was standing right behind them. Adanella confronts Seiya with a psychotic look and pulls out her sword to make him pay. Seiya refuses to fight her and calmly walks toward her and asks about her well-being. He pats her on the head and calms her down. She finally forgives him because of her love for him. She quickly runs away. Seiya gets back to training and Metis, the goddess of archery, looks at him and Rista menacingly over a distance while eating an apple. Arya and Rista are enjoying a cup of tea at Arya's place. A gossip session is a must whenever a group of girls sit for tea. Rista tells her that she was right about Seiya and Adanela's situation, and she should not have worried that much. Arya takes Rista to the room to show her what she has taught Elulu and Mash. Mash transforms his hand to a large dragon hand, which means he has leveled up. Meanwhile, Elulu's technique is to slow down the opponent. She uses this on Mash to tease him. Furthermore, she can even fast up an individual too, as she unlocked the counterpart skill too. Rista thanks Arya for teaching them and exploring their talents. Rista tells Arya that Seiya is training with Metis. Arya gets shocked and warns them about Metis, who is even more dangerous than Adanella. She sexually devours any male she comes in contact with, which is why she was isolated in the Divine Forest. She informs her that it is taboo to let any male get near to her. Rista is then once again forced to run to the Divine Forest to warn Seiya. She sees Metis tied up by the ropes, hanging by the tree completely naked. What in the world of submission is going on here? Metis gets down, showcasing her assists like it is no big deal, and tries to seduce Seiya, but he attacks her. After a short yet uncomfortable fight for our heroes, Seiya locks her with his 5 Shining Arrow technique, settling down her overabundant lust. He has now mastered the Shining Arrow technique and is ready to go back. Rista opens a portal back to the Olga fortress. The commander greets them and tells them that Rosalie has gone to the fly's lair all alone. Seiya tells him that they will take care of this and gets ready to fly there before her. They reach the fly's lair and see Rosalie climbing up the lair. Seiya tries to take a shot, but is interrupted several times. He sends Rista to distract the head fly and make her release Rosalie. Head fly denies and takes her higher in the clouds to drop her on the ground, so that none of her bones remain intact. Rista follows him too, all the way to the top. She distracts him while Seiya shoots his arrow and saves Rosalie. The head fly figures that Seiya might be hiding in the clouds and calls for him. 7 shining arrows suddenly come the fly's way, but he dodges all 7. Little does he know that those arrows transformed into birds who shoot the head fly to death. Seiya is showing the divine realm why he is the one fit for taking on this S-level difficulty world. Back to the surface, Seiya takes out the remaining flies with the help of Elulu and Mash's new powers, and in that help their part is negligible as he takes them all down himself. After that he uses the powers of Mash and Elulu to collect all the dead bodies of demonic flies and then put them on fire, as if it is barbecue time. Rosalie mounts on her horse, as she is still being ungrateful to the hero for saving their nation. However, Rosalie pays off the debt by telling the saviors about a legendary armor in the shrine of the village of Izale. She says it will help them defeat the demon lord, as it is the ultimate armor forged by a great ancient sage for some future crisis. This armor has been kept safe by the men of Rosegard for centuries. No doubt the information is tempting, but cautiousness is the special trait of our hero, so he confirms from her if she is sure that item is not cursed. These offensive remarks trigger her and she leaves from there right away, as she felt disrespected considering it was once worn by his father. The heroes decide to take some rest before going to the Azala village. When they get there, everything is in flames and Demon Lord's forces have taken over. They meet a general of Demon Lord's forces and one of the 4 heavenly kings. His name is Summoner Kilkapul. He is the one who summoned this ferocious demon from the other world. He then reveals that his demon turtle has already eaten the legendary armor from the shrine. He actually summoned this turtle to eat this armor because it is made of adamantite, the hardest substance on Gaiabrand. In short, this turtle destroyed the armor before Seiya could wear it, blowing away Seiya's chances of winning against the Demon King. Kilkapul has killed all the villagers of Izala, including his wife and son, so that he can summon the greatest magic. He has also sacrificed himself to invoke the summoning magic. He calls to manifest the hyperconceptual Reaper, known as Krosdathanatus, whereas Seiya orders Rista to open a portal to the divine realm, so that they can use it in the time of need, but she is too slow to do that. After that they watch in horror as Krosdathanatus, a Reaper, appears before them and starts attacking. Seiya tries to fight back, but it is too powerful as it splits in 2. Right then, Rista opens a portal, hence the boy throws all his friends into the portal and jumps in it too, in order to save their lives. On reaching the divine realm, Seiya reveals that he is badly injured in this little skirmish, which worries Rista and she rushes to heal him. However, as soon as he lifts up his shirt, it is just a small bruise on his abdomen. Rista clearly loses her mind as she thought that it must be something serious considering his attitude. Unfortunately, Krosdathanatus is able to follow them between dimensions. Thus they all start panicking, because even Seiya does not know how to defeat this Reaper. Luckily, the noted gods of the unified divine realm come there to help them right on time. Hence they fight with the Reaper using their attributes in combination, but sadly, even they are no match to him. Suddenly, Mash and Elulu bring her attention to the hero, who is running away at full speed to save his ass. All of them follow him too, because apparently they have no other choice. A legendary god one after another tries to stop the Reaper, but fails consecutively. He even uses Adonella's crush to his advantage. However, it also shows no result. Meanwhile, Seiya already has a plan ready in case they come across an enemy who they don't have any idea how to beat. Hence he is leading Krosdathanatus to the top of the tower. Because Valkyrie has a hobby of painting pictures, and apparently, she is always painting up on the temple roof, where she can see all across the divine realm. And as the greatest goddess in the divine realm, she will be able to defeat Krosdathanatus. However, Seiya knows if they ask her nicely, she may not help them. That's why he plans all this. At that moment, Krosdathanatus attacks him, but Seiya swiftly moves aside. Hence the attack destroys Valkyrie's painting. At this, the goddess dressed in chains gets mad and she invokes her full power to defeat Krosdathanatus. She jumps at him with full speed, ready to smash him up good. She uses her Domain expansion to trap him and finish him, but it turns out the Reaper is more powerful than we anticipated. After the intense fight, the girl finally kills the Reaper by using her Omega move called as Gates of Valhalla. This super attack has taken a toll on her life energy, so she fondles Rista's melons to heal herself. I believe I need to do that too to become invincible. After she is done, Seiya then demands Valkyrie that she is the one who will train him. However, Rista worriedly tells him that Valkyrie said if a human used that Gate of Valhalla move, then they would die. At this, Valkyrie taunts him that this is not even possible, because a human cannot learn a Valkyria in the first place. Seiya challenges him that if that's the case, then they should test this theory. Hence, Valkyrie realizes that this man is stubborn, so he won't back down. Therefore, she agrees to train him, but she warns him that she will not teach him the gate of Valhalla. She leaves from there, asking him to join her in 10 minutes at her place. In the meantime, Mash and Elulu head out to Arya's place to pick up from where they left. Restart is really regretting that they lost the legendary armor, wondering how much they need to train to reach at the benchmark. Seiya tells Restart that he picked up a fragment of the legendary armor. However, he can't make it into armor, but he feels its synthesis effects will still work. Hence, he puts the stone in his sword to turn it into Adamantor, which is the indestructible sword and the strongest weapon he has acquired till now. After that, Seiya goes to meet Valkyrie for training, and Restart heads out to take a bath, as she stinks. Later, Restart goes to meet Ishtar, fearing that it must be about the Reaper that followed them all the way to the Divine Realm. There, the woman shows her the scene of Gaibrande and informs her that the last of the 4 heavenly kings is making a move down on Gaibrande. He is leading a great army to overthrow the capital city. That's why Ishtar wants Restart to go to Gaibrande immediately and handle the issue there, considering they don't have any time to spare. Ishtar also informs her that she is stinking so bad, smelling like rotten vinegar. This really puts her to shame, as she is now 1000% sure that she is smelling horrible. Following that, she takes a bath and washes every inch of her body so hard that her body is looking sunburned now. Arya surprises her by showing her that Mash has turned into a complete dragon, ultimately mastering the dragon god Morphosis, and Elulu has learned a spell superior to her previous ones. They are in awe of Arya for being the perfect teacher. The next day, Rista goes to meet Seiya. However, she finds him in an inappropriate position with Valkyrie. The boy clarifies that they were just training and they are not involved in a sexual relationship. Valkyrie is so mad at this novice for such conservative mindset. Rista has lost her mind over this sight, as she brings out the doll made up of her hair. She pulled them out, enduring a lot of pain just to help Seiya in synthesizing more items. This really makes Valkyrie uncomfortable, so she takes her leave from there, telling her that she will never squeeze her boobs in the future again. Even Mash and Elulu are disappointed in her. She starts crying over her helplessness as she is triggered by all the people that are trying to land their hands on Seiya. After that, Rista informs him about the matter of Gaibrande. Hence, they go there and see that the place has become a battleground. The demons and the armed men are ready to exchange blows at any given minute. It's a do-or-die situation for the Roseguard army. There, a ponytail man informs Seiya that a demon lord army of elite forces led by the heavenly king Eraser Kaiser is attacking the capital city. Their own forces are in retreat from their terrifying military might. Surprisingly, the demon is very powerful, and it will be a headache to defeat him. Eraser Kaiser is a 6-armed demon whose aura is completely different from the other demons Seiya has faced. He steps forward and asks the humans to send out their mightiest and fiercest warriors to protect their empire. Upon hearing that, an old fellow in a golden armor steps forward. The War Master, a great warrior of capital, goes to fight him. Eraser is so full of himself and wants to fight a strong warrior and not some old fellow. He considers this as a suicide and sacrifice from the lowly human. Surprisingly, the old man defeats the king in a single shot with crushing Saint's Light. The demon is cut into infinite pieces and the whole crowd erupts chanting his name. After finishing their king, he harnesses a massive golden sword and wipes out the whole demon force in a single swing. They got erased from the surface like they never existed in the first place. The old man goes by the name of Wolka's Roseguard, who stands at the level 90 with extraordinary stats. He greets the goddess and her companions, mentioning that he is sorry for ruining the moments of her hero. However, all of them are too impressed by such an extraordinary display of power by the old fellow. Rista inquires why he doesn't take part in defeating the demon lord. Suddenly, he falls down as it looks like he is suffering from a grave disease, but surprisingly, he becomes a baby, which shocks everyone. A clown moment for the saviors of Gaibrande. It is funny to imagine that even the guards of the capital had no idea that their war master turns into a baby. They are shocked to see the old man turn into a baby and wet his nappy. The special servant tries to handle the situation to his best, but the secret has already been revealed. A few moments later, Rosalie arrives, rushing her horse towards her father and gives her dad a hug. She orders all the armed men to go and kill the remaining demons to disperse the ongoing circus. She then tells them that his father was cursed by a demon lord, which is why he became a baby. She invites them to the imperial castle so she can give them the details about the curse. Eventually, they end up in the castle, although Seiya wasn't interested in going there. The festivities are going on in the capital because they have won against the demon forces. All of them are hailing the War Master for his service. On their way, they come across the bar and Rista is interested in having a drink. But our hero ruins the plan, considering they can be caught off guard if they drink. Next stop is a casino, where the bunny girls invite them to enjoy their time. However, Seiya burns down this plan too, as he doesn't want to risk losing. Rista tries her level best to persuade him, but nothing works. Instead, Seiya starts giving her lecture about how the goddess should behave. The only thing this guy is interested in is related to his fighting mindset. He stops to buy some medicinal herbs, which ultimately results in humiliation for the goddess, as the healing power of those herbs are greater than her magical healing. In the castle, Rosalie questions Seiya regarding the whereabouts of the fabled armor. As a result, Seiya tells her that a gigantic tortoise ate him. He then inquires about the girl's needs. Rosalie informs him that Volkus Rosagorod, the War Master, has been battling demons for 30 years at this point, but for reasons that are still unclear, he changed into a baby during the war last year. She regretfully tells them that her father's time is running out, and he is the pride of the people. She therefore wants him to spend the remainder of his life in peace, remembering the moments she spent with her father over the time. That's why she asks Seiya to convince his dad not to wage war against the Demon Lord. Leaving the old geezer out of it doesn't bother Seiya at all, and he will happily do that. After that, they head to the court to meet Rosalie's father, who is sitting on the throne. He greets them again, and asks about their plans to attack the Demon Lord. There, Seiya informs the elderly man that the Demon Lord can be defeated without his aid. Quite straightforward from our hero, but the king takes it quite well. He agrees to not take part in this war against the Demon Lord. Suddenly, they learn that additional monsters are attacking the city when a guard bursts in. Seiya says he will take care of them, and he should stay here in his castle, as he is the king of this nation. Thus he departs and gives Wolves the task of guiding Rista around the temple he had constructed for the goddesses. Both the king and goddess get disappointed to hear that they are not joining Seiya in this battle. After a while, Wolves is showing Rista the cathedral while talking about the history of the gods. Rista is not interested in the cathedral, rather she is perplexed by the thoughts of Seiya treating her like There, Wolves reveals that he knows how gods and goddesses were immortal. Apparently, the soul currently dwelling in the body is a virtual soul. The real soul is being stored in a room within the divine realm where time stands still. Even if they were to die in this world, only the virtual souls would come apart. So, as long as a goddess's real soul is in the divine realm, she will continue to live on forever. Same way, if a summoned hero were to die, he would simply return to his original world. Resta gets really impressed with the knowledge this man has about the gods and heroes. Volks then informs the girl about a magical item that is chain destruction. A dreadful magical item with a big grin on his face. It is said that it's used to break apart a virtual soul that destroys the real soul. Resta becomes terrified after hearing all this. It appears Demon Lord has already finished creating a chain destruction, and he has also produced the ultimate weapon that can shatter the soul of a hero and kill a goddess. This weapon is called God Eater, a deity-slaying sword. He tells her that she is going to die here because he can't let that hero escape into the divine realm through her. Wolks tells her the story about the time when he went to meet the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord scanned every inch and thought of his sorry existence, including his everlasting dream of becoming a hero. He became awed by his power, hence he started worshipping him. Since Wolk's dream of becoming a hero can't be fulfilled, he chose to kill other heroes. Hence he starts attacking Rista, showing his intentions to kill her in a single blow. He launches his first attack, but Rista's elastic body gives her edge, and she survives this attack. She is dismayed by this attack, crawling on her feet to escape from the War Master's next attack. However, this effort turns out to be futile, as she gets caught in demonic ropes. Rista starts crying at her helpless situation, calling the name of her hero to save her. The goddess has almost given up when Seiya comes like a hero to save her. Rosalie and the kids arrive there too, wondering how the king can be a pawn of the Demon Lord. The cautious nature of Seiya and his brainstorming to explore all possible scenarios has paid off in an interesting way. He narrates all the possibilities that he imagined, as soon as he knew about War Master's adventures. It appears Seiya knows the Heavenly King was only pretending to be dead, and the Demon Lord has obtained a weapon that can kill gods. That's why he came back to check on Resta. Rosalie tries to stop her father, but his intention of killing her too shocks his daughter. Resta warns Seiya about the sword that the old geezer has, as it can destroy the soul of both of them. Then Seiya attacks the old man, and of course the old man vomits blood. Wolks knows he does not have much energy left, and his body is already withering away. He plans on giving his life for the cause of the Demon Lord. That's why he eats the demon spirit orb. Surprisingly, after eating the pill, the old man becomes his younger self, a perfect demonkin. That leads them to engage in combat, pouring every ounce of their strength. Wolks is quite impressed with Seiya's double eternal sword technique. However, in a couple of seconds his eyes get accustomed and he blows away one of the swords of our hero. After that, the War Master uses Evil Spirit, but the attacks get nullified by Seiya's defense. Things are getting quite hot in there as Seiya takes off his attribute bracelets and brings out the spare platinum sword to activate double mode again. Another fierce battle begins, and none of them are giving up. They are fighting at an incredible pace that even Raishi's eyes can't follow their movements. They both cut off each other's arm, which actually happened due to the technique he learned from Valkyrie. Lastly, Seiya attacks the man with the Phoenix Thrust. Finally, Wolks gets defeated and he once again becomes old. Reishi and the party come in for the rescue and heals Seiya's arm. The old man is crying like a baby over the pain he is having. After that, the boy orders Reishi to heal Wolk's arm. Seiya advises Rosalie that she should talk to her father when he is still alive. I believe that is not much of an advice, rather it's a duty he forced on her by slapping her. After 3 days, Wolks passed away and Rosalie took over the imperial throne, promising to be a fine ruler. Meanwhile, Reishi is taking care of Seiya, who has been sleeping for the last 3 days. He finally gets up and tells them about his plan to take on the Demon Lord. He confesses that he needs to train more to face the Demon Lord, as he only won against the War Master by the thinnest of margins. However, he makes them happy that they will train after enjoying and relaxing for next 3 days. So they head out to enjoy and relax to their fullest. Seiya lets her friends know that they are free to relax for a couple of days. Rista, Elulu and Mash visit the market as a result. They are too surprised that their master allowed them to have a little relaxation period. Firstly, they go to the clothing shop to buy some relaxing clothes for Mash and Elulu. Rista dreams of buying a bikini so she can bathe together with Seiya in the hot spring. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper is making a mockery of the goddess for being ungrateful. They return to the castle later in the evening. When they went to see Seiya afterwards, he wasn't there. They waited for him for a while, but he never returned. They eventually start to worry and head to the market to find him. Thus they ask everyone about Seiya, but no one is aware of his whereabouts. They end up going back to the castle, hopeless about the situation. They try to figure out all the possible destinations of Seiya, including his plans to take on Demon Lord or some special training. However, they can't reach any conclusions, so Rista decides to use her last resort and heads to meet Ishtar. As soon as they reach there, they notice Arya crying there by the window. Arya then informs them to accompany her because Ishtar is waiting for them. She then takes them inside a room filled with the stars, and here the time stands still. There Ishtar appears and tells them that although they are not allowed to enter this place, she is giving them special permission today. There Rista spots a lovely tree that houses the gods' actual souls. Ishtar tells them that Seiya went to the Demon Lord's castle by himself as soon as he parted ways with her. Since the Demon Lord is in possession of the chain destruction weapon, which has the power to destroy Seiya's soul, Rista starts to worry for the boy. Ishtar eventually warns the girl that her soul will perish as well. It seems that Seiya is aware that she could be killed by the Demon Lord, so he went alone for that reason. She can't grasp the fact and starts behaving weirdly. She believes that he never cared for her nor respected her, so there is no way Seiya will think in this manner. However, Ishtar believes that Seiya was a kind young man, despite his sharp tongue and ill-mannered demeanor. Ever since RMC was summoned, he was always concerned about his allies. For the same reason, he avoided conflict between them and treated them with icy coldness. Seiya occasionally cared more about his friends than he did about rescuing Gaibrand. He protected all 3 of them on separate occasions, risking his life and future. Ishtar shows her the real stats of Seiya, telling her that coming back to Divine Realm to train will be futile, as Seiya appears to have already attained his pinnacle, and his abilities will therefore no longer grow. Since the fight in the Dragon Village, his stats have not increased at all. This is the reason why he learned special skills from Valkyrie, and that sex-addicted goddess. Our boy decided to keep it a secret, as he believes that there is no use of telling anyone and nothing will change. Rishta is concerned for him because he lacks the armor and the sword needed to defeat the Demon Lord. Mash interrupts that he has exhaustion, but Rishta corrects him that it was a fake sword just to fool everyone. However, Ishtar reveals that Seiya has mastered the Valkyrie abilities, which allow one to defeat an opponent in return for one's own life. To save the world, Seiya is ready to sacrifice his own life. He impressed Valkyrie so much that she had no choice but to teach him Omega Valkyrie. Rishta starts crying since she knows if a human uses the gate of Valhalla, then they would definitely die. Upon seeing her condition, Ishtar asks her if she has the courage to know about the truth regarding Seiya's will to save their world at every cost. She then shows them the time of difficulty level B world Xphoria, which was 100 years ago. What they see is Seiya talking to his companions about killing the Chimera, but one of the girls is trying to stop him, as they are no match for him. Arya tells them that Seiya began as the hero she summoned to take control of Xphoria. She informs them that the mage in the robes is Colt, and that girl, Princess Tiana, was the princess of Xphoria and their party healer. She teamed up with Seiya along the way to defeat the Demon Lord. Apparently, at the time Seiya just wanted to keep going. Even he possessed an innate ability to fight. Despite his lower level, he was able to defeat the opponent. As a result, they all became reliant on one another. Seiya simply wanted to defeat the Demon Lord. He was not used to training and always appeared to be in a hurry. He believes that the longer they wait to kill the Demon Lord, the longer the people will suffer. That's why he wanted to move forward. The next day, they battle the Demon Lord. No surprise that the beast on the way was way stronger than they imagined. In the blink of an eye, the lion-cum-snake takes out the mage and our hero. The chimera pokes a hole in the chest of Seiya. However, he still manages to finish off that beast by piercing his sword in the skull of this beast. Colt and others are in a troublesome shape, but Seiya doesn't care about that, and proceeds to take on the golem. Seiya's present team can't believe that this is actually Seiya, but Arya guarantees them that he used to be like that, and only used to think about moving forward irrespective of the situation around. In addition, he used to win every battle, as he had an innate gift of fighting, so they always trusted him and enjoyed those moments with him. Same was the case on that last night before they had to fight the Demon Lord. Arya wanted to visit Sage Village to gather some more information, but Seiya wanted to finish off the Demon King as soon as possible to free the people from this miserable oppression of demonic forces. The next day they battle out with the giant frog known as the Demon Lord of this world. After a tough battle, Seiya takes him out, cutting the frog into pieces. The group was enjoying their moment of victory, but the celebrations ended soon, as the Demon Lord regenerated his parts. He tells them that he got 2 lives and devours Colt and Arya in a couple of seconds. Tiana and Seiya also reached their limits and had no strength to fight this newly reincarnated frog. Unfortunately, the Demon Lord kills all of his friends and was planning to kill Tiana, who was pregnant at the time. Seiya begs him to release the girl, but the monster does not listen. Hence he kills Tiana and the baby in her belly. Arya of today feels burdened by this nightmare and blames herself for not taking precautionary measures. Surprisingly, Ishtar informs that Tiana was reborn as Rista on the request of Arya, and it is not a coincidence that Rista chose Seiya that time. This all was linked through destiny, as the famous saying goes that people linked with destiny always find each other. Rista is on her knees crying badly after knowing the truth of her relationship with Seiya. However, she has no memory of her previous life. Seiya too has forgotten his past. However, his regret for that moment was etched deeply into his soul. Seiya is aware that he has been summoned before, and that it has failed in the past. As a result, Rista makes up her mind and decides to visit Seiya, but Arya tries to hold her back, as she doesn't want to lose her again. Ishtar tries to stop her too, informing her about the possible punishment for crossing the limits of a goddess. Never mind, she doesn't care about anything at all, and all she wants at the moment is to join Seiya, so she jumps in the Guy brand with Mash and Elulu. Elulu, Mash, and Rista dash to the Demon Lord's castle in an attempt to save Seiya. She is fully determined to help Seiya in every way possible. As soon as Rista lands there, she feels an ominous feeling, as she believes that this is the aura of chain reaction. She informs the kids that they are in the heart of the Demon Lord's castle, and the final showdown will happen here. Suddenly they hear the sounds of swords slashing, so they rush to the floor immediately. Seiya is already fighting the Demon Lord, and is about to open the gates of Valhalla. Rista tries to stop him, as she knows the implications of using this move. However, Seiya has already decided to do that, and the next second the Demon Lord gets trapped in the gate. The gate nullifies that magic of Demon Lord. Right then, the thrones of the gate pierces through his body, which baffles him, as he exclaims that only Exazon can touch his body. He is unable to comprehend the situation, and during this confusion the door of the gate starts to close. The Demon Lord is desperately trying to escape from there by turning into his superior form. But Seiya has already prepared a plan because he is aware that this will occur. As a result, he uses synthesis on the spikes of the gate after attacking the Demon Lord with the Phoenix Thrust, because the normal attacks are void against the Demon Lord. Finally, he strikes him with the Valhalla Thrust, closing the gate once and for all. This scheme miraculously works, and our MC finally beats the shit out of the Demon Lord. Seiya collapses to the ground with severe injuries as the blood oozes out of his body rapidly. Even at this point he is worried about Resta breaking the laws of Divine Realm, and then he loses his consciousness. Seeing Seiya collapse, Rista used all of her healing power to save Seiya, even though she is aware that if she does this she will risk losing her goddess status. Ishtar warns her too about the gravity of the situation, and she will have to face the Imperial Tribunal for violating the laws of Divine Realm. However, Rista is unconcerned about her rank. All she wants is to save Seiya. As a result, she uses all of her powers to heal the boy. She believes that she was destined to become a goddess, specifically for this moment. She takes him under her wings, looking for a happy ending for both of them. Suddenly all the injuries start healing, and after a while Seiya awakens after a brief period of unconsciousness and is fully functional, as the recoil from the gate of Valhalla is finally over. A little skirmish between Rista and Seiya starts again, and Seiya is back to his typical bashful behavior, hurting the feelings of Rista. He even punched her for being so clingy. Right then, Elulu brings their attention towards the gate of Valhalla that is still present. At that point, the Demon Lord breaks through the gates and launches an attack, called Judgment Zero, that will destroy the world, turning the world of Gabrandi in dust. This is the ultimate power of Demon Lord of an S-rank difficulty level world. Seiya does not want this to happen, so he summons the Gate of Valhalla again, which is even bigger and stronger than the earlier one. Finally, the demon lord has been destroyed, as the gate of Valhalla swallowed him along with the first gate. Seiya suffers severe injuries and appears to be beyond saving. The stronger the gate, the stronger the after effects of that. This time Rista tries to heal him, but it doesn't work. She begs the gate to spare the hero's life, because he is the one who saved the world. However, the gate disappears, mentioning that it is the servant of the underworld which collects its payment fairly. Meanwhile, Seiya advises his friends to look after themselves and find happiness. Since she is unable to save him, Rista is inconsolable, so he hugs her, attempting to calm her down by complimenting her. Seiya is happy that he was able to save Rista this time around, as he recalls his previous life at that precise moment. He is satisfied at the dying moments, and then his body simply disappears. The hero fulfilled his purpose. A redemption day for him has finally arrived. A few days later, everything returned to normal in Gabranda. Everyone acknowledges Seiya as an extraordinary hero, who saved their world, sacrificing his life in return. Hero Zali grants Elulu and Mash the title of Imperial Knighthood in the Rose Guard army. Mash aspires to follow the footsteps of his master in order to preserve the world and the legacy he has left. She leaves the Gabranda with a heavy heart, unsure about her fate too. All of them salute the goddess for saving them from this nightmare. For Seiya's sake, Rista aspires to be a proper goddess in the meantime. She returns home as a result. However, she does sincerely miss Seiya. Every inch of her room is reminding her of Seiya's presence. This is the first time we have seen the goddess Rista being so dead. Anyhow, Arya arrives the following day to take her to see Ishtar. Arya dresses her up and fixes her hair too, as they are about to head to the court. She meets Circeus, Matetus, and Edenella on the way there. They are being their typical self as we have seen before. Following their mutual teasing, Valkyrie meets Rista. She tells the girl that she does not regret teaching Seiya that move, and commends her for her hard work. For what he accomplished was beyond description. After a while they encounter Ishtar. The woman applauds Rista for saving Gabrand. She then informs her that a Divine Realm internal tribunal has ruled against her for breaking divine rules. Because of this, she must accept her punishment. Arya defends her friend and reasons with Ishtar to nullify the punishment, as she saved the S-level difficulty world, which is an incredible feat. Rista, meanwhile, says nothing because she is prepared to take the punishment. She is told by Ishtar that saving the SS difficulty level world Xphoria will be her punishment. Arya finds this offensive because Xphoria is a world that a demon lord has already subjugated, and a hero has fallen to that demon lord's sword. Having gained immense power, he has now transformed that world into a demonic domain. Arya requests the madam to send her in that world instead of Rista. However, Ishtar informs that the punishment is for Rista's, and she will confine her heavenly healing abilities while rescuing Xphoria, and her status as a goddess will be permanently damaged if she is unable to save it. It is totally unfair, considering she will not be able to use her powers to support her hero, making it impossible to save that world. It is a lose-lose situation according to Arya, so she forgets that she is talking to her higher up, and advances to the main seat, but soon she realizes and stops there. On the other hand, Ishtar remains perfectly calm and believes that it is not impossible because she has made an exception. Subsequently, she presents Rista with a list and grants her authorization to call upon the hero from the list to take back control of the Xphoria world. Rista sees the list and notices Seiya's name in it. Later she thanks Ishtar and seems like Rista gets another chance to be with Seiya, an overly cautious hero. This brings a big smile on the faces of the goddesses, and they thank Ishtar for making this happen. She might not have her healing powers to save him, but that mutual feeling of love and care for each other will take them to places. It is time for another adventure to take down an SS level difficulty world. That concludes the anime recap. As always, if you enjoyed, let me know down below and I'm out.